I didn't do a lot. I never went to FCW. We had Florida guys cover all that, so I was never in Tampa. And then one of the other staff guys was moving to Florida. Um, he said he would move. He said he would move to Florida. He was going to cover everything. And then it's, oh hey, we're going to move it to Orlando and call it NXT. He's like, well, I live in Tampa. So I was like, well, I guess you're driving to Orlando. So he covered all that. So I wasn't there at the beginning. I mean, my first meetings with him was Husky Harris with Nexus, and he was. I'd heard he was Mike Rotunda's son, and Mike I did a lot of international tours with. I always sat with him on the bus or on a plane ride, and I would talk. He would tell me stories. So I enjoyed talking to him. He tell stories from back in the day, and being someone that grew up through that era, it was fun to hear his stories from working back in the '80s and his different characters. And a very nice guy. I mean, I feel bad for all of them. DeBow, his sister, his mom. I mean, it's just kids, JoJo. It's horrible. But as Husky Harris, when he first came, I'm like, I don't really like this guy. He's kind of an attitude. He's like one of those meathead football players. It's kind of how he was. We were on. They were on. They came on one of the first tours, and I played college football. I think at Troy University. I think it was Troy, somewhere down south, maybe in Louisiana, because he would talk with one of my guys. A guy that played for the Buffalo Bills was his teammate. But this was there. Now he came back as Bray. Like it was Husky, and then he disappeared. Went back to NXT. I didn't know anything about this Wyatt family. Like I said, I rarely ever went to Florida. And they had him start doing dark matches as the Bray Wyatt character. I'm like, wait a minute, is this the same guy? He's got the big beard now and long hair. He had the short hair. He had some more tattoos on him. And I'm just hearing on headset the director at the time saying, "This kid's gonna be a star. I really like him. He's got a good vibe and the whole." I'm like, this guy's out of this, kind of out of this world character. Then he disappeared. Back to NXT, and then I forget when they made their debut as the Wyatt family, but I didn't know Eric Rowan, and I didn't know Brody. I didn't know Harper. I didn't know any of those guys. I'd never met them. When they came out, I was like, wow, and with the Shield, I was like, wow, these are a couple of solid factions. And as I got to know Bray more, I realized that he's a very, very nice, quiet, soft-spoken guy, very creative. And then when they were doing the whole Fiend, it was, hey, I think we were in Pittsburgh when he started the original. The stuff I posted online was after he got lit on fire. I didn't specify that, but that was after he was lit on fire by Randy. That was that mask. The original ones, I think we started in Pittsburgh, and Tom Savini, that big special effects guy, Jason Baker worked for him. And I'd met them both in Pittsburgh, and they'd done some other stuff with some talent. He's like, he's going to be this. And they started putting the mold, and I'm taking pictures. I'm running out. I'm coming back. I'm like, Bray's like, yeah, dude, this is going to be some crazy, crazy shit. And, when they made the whole thing, it was like, how do you breathe in that and the outfit? I guess, it's just hard. I don't know. I just feel like they kind of went sideways with him also with that character. And, during COVID with all the matches, and Braun was feuding with him. Braun was part of the Wyatt family, and he went away. Was whatever issues he had, health, mental. He came back into the stuff with LA Knight, and then just from what I read, I don't follow a lot. Just he was supposed to be coming back, and then somebody texted me that I used to work with, and dude, is this true about Bray? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I go online. I'm like, oh my god. And at first, I thought he was a little older than 36. Not that he was old, obviously. He's a lot younger than me, but I thought he was a little older than 36 years old. So, I mean, any age is too young. I'm 56 now, but I met the kids. JoJo, I know, obviously worked with her. I met his children from his first marriage at a WrestleMania, and they're cute little girls. And there's he's running around with them, like tattoos, with being a soft, cuddly daddy. That's the way he was. And he was into a lot of stuff, and you could have conversation with him just about anything. He's like, my kids are teenagers, and we'd have those conversations about how they would aggravate me. Get phone calls on the road, but just sad. I know I texted with a few of the guys from work, and everybody was broken up about it because he was He was a sweetheart of a guy. He really was. And I would talk with Mike about it. I was like, where does he come up with this stuff? He said, from when he was a kid, he was very creative and would do a lot of stuff that was out there that you say, as a child. But he said he always had a very creative mind, making up all these characters as a kid. So brain was always working like that, I guess. But yeah, it is a horrible tragedy.